If you have followed my channel, you will know that I like Dark Souls a lot. My past videos should make it obvious that I like everything about it. I like the tempo of its combat, I like its level design, and I like how it incentivizes exploration. I like all elements of its multiplayer systems. I like the transitory nature of messages and bloodstains. I like getting invaded at an inopportune moment. And I like invading others. I like arena duels. I like fight clubs. I like the honor culture that has grown organically around them. I even like that one transgressor that refuses to adhere to the honor culture and tries to kill the host when he's low on health during his duel. I love the bosses. I love the music that accompany the bosses. I like the feeling of dying with a lot of souls on my person in a new area where I am unfamiliar with the terrain. And I like doing it early in the game where those souls have more value, where I really want to spend those souls on levels or items or spells. I really like that tense feeling of navigating this unfamiliar territory for the first time, trying to get back to those souls without dying, because to lose them at this point in the game would be a critical blow to my progress. And if I don't make it and I die, I really like that critical blow to my progress. I like playing as a deprived my first time through, having no idea where any of the weapons are or any of the spells are, and having to make do with whatever armor or equipment I managed to pick up along the way. There's nothing I don't like. No element of the gameplay that I find distasteful, not even one. Losing to bosses makes me happy. Losing to more experienced, overpowered invaders fills me with joy. Especially the first time through, because in a way they have done me a favor. They have granted me the privilege of going through this area once again, and extended how long my first playthrough lasts, which is the most valuable playthrough, in my opinion. Most importantly though, I am obsessed with the story. The last video that I uploaded should have made that clear. You will never find a more deranged individual than myself, so desperate to try and show you what I think it all means. Now, I'm not telling you this to try and get you to value the game as I value it. Rather, I'm telling you this so that you understand where I'm coming from, so you understand my bias here, and so that you take seriously what I'm about to say next, which is this. Elden Ring is going to be better than Dark Souls. Fuck Dark Souls. As beloved as Dark Souls is now to me and to a lot of people, Elden Ring will be even more so in the future. The way fans like myself view Dark Souls is how Elden Ring will be viewed 10 years from now. Elden Ring will be what Dark Souls aspired to be, what Dark Souls failed to be. Dark Souls is a base metal, easily tarnished and impure. Its potential was limited by Miyazaki's relative inexperience, by the limits of the technology available at the time, by deadlines, by time constraints, by the bosses that Miyazaki surely had to answer to, and by the fact that they had not yet made Bloodborne or Sekiro, and so could not draw from that experience. Dark Souls 3 did not have some of those limitations, but it had a much worse one. It was constrained by the fact that it had to be Dark Souls 3. It was constrained by its own lore, by its own accumulated history that it had acquired throughout Dark Souls 1 and 2. It was not a blank canvas when it started, and thus Miyazaki's creative freedom was restricted from the very beginning. But Elden Ring has no such weaknesses. Miyazaki today is the CEO of From Software. He answers to no one but the shareholders, and surely they are happy with his results. They do not lack time, they do not lack money, they do not lack experience. And as a new IP, Miyazaki is granted a blank canvas. He has all the creative freedom he could hope for. If he was ever going to top himself and make the game that Dark Souls was always meant to be, now would be the time. But you don't have to take my word for it. Why don't you take Miyazaki's word for it? In an interview, Miyazaki was asked if he felt that Elden Ring would be From Software's best game to date. This is his reply. Quote, "I said it before, but Elden Ring would not have been possible without that culmination of experience, the know-how from developing our previous titles. And of course, our talented team has grown throughout the development of those projects. It's safe to say that we could only have made Elden Ring now, after all of that. So in that sense, yes, I believe it will be our best to date." End quote. Now I know what some of you are going to say. You'll say, "Redditosker, that doesn't mean anything. You are overhyped. You are a From Software simp. You are engaging in baseless speculation." And to that I'd say, you have a point. I am engaging in speculation, of course. And of course I am a From Software simp. This much is obvious. But I don't think the speculation is baseless. Because I don't just think Elden Ring is going to be better than Dark Souls. I think Elden Ring was designed to be better than Dark Souls, specifically. I think its purpose is to be better than Dark Souls. And here's why I think that. It's not just that interview quote that I gave you. It's because Miyazaki transmits messages through his games. Like I talked about in my previous lore video, I believe that the Ashes of Ariandel DLC from Dark Souls 3 is a metaphor for Dark Souls as a series. Miyazaki is the painter, rot is the series becoming stale, and burning the painting down represents ending the series, before it completely rots away. This metaphor does two things at once. It represents its own metaphorical significance, and it also alludes to the main theme of the main games, which themselves have to do with the cost of preserving things. I'm telling you this because I think Miyazaki is doing a similar thing with Elden Ring. I don't yet know what the theme is because the game's not out yet. But I think I understand what some of the symbolism is pointing towards. In a Reddit post titled "Elden Ring's Deep Connection to Alchemy and the Ripley Scroll," the commenter showed off a lot of possible connections that Elden Ring might have to alchemy. Whatever their thematic significance, it's clear that Elden Ring has a heavy association with it, I think. How it's associated is not really important. We don't yet know enough to speculate on what it could mean for the story. What's important is that the point of alchemy is the magnum opus, the great work, the process of refining the prima materia, the primal matter, into the Philosopher's Stone. And magnum opus is not a term limited to alchemy. Today, the word is often used to refer to an artist's greatest or most important work, the greatest music that a composer composes, the best book that a writer writes, and in this case, perhaps, the best video game of Miyazaki's career, at least to date. My belief here is that, like the Ashes of Ariandel DLC, the association with alchemy and the magnum opus will represent what the game says that they represent in the lore. They will also have a metaphorical interpretation that has to do with Miyazaki's personal journey, his own refining from the prima materia to the Philosopher's Stone. And that metaphorical interpretation will allude to the greater theme of the game, allowing him to express this metaphor without losing himself to just this metaphor being what the game is about. Let me be clear, that's not what this game is about. It's not what the Ashes of Ariandel DLC was about. The themes are always what it's about. They always allude to the themes. Using narrative in this way allows him to do both at once, without sacrificing anything. Miyazaki has said previously that he makes the kind of games that he himself would want to play. And at the end of that interview that I mentioned earlier, he even says that Elden Ring is very close to his ideal game. My point is that I think Miyazaki himself believes that this will be the best game he's ever made. And that alone is good reason to be hopeful. It's reason enough to be optimistic. Now for me personally, I don't need any of those reasons. I played the network test, and my experience in that network test has already made a believer out of me. I already like Elden Ring more than Dark Souls. I'm already sure the vast majority of people that like Dark Souls will like Elden Ring more than Dark Souls. And I just want to put myself on record saying that, so that in a few years from now, when Elden Ring is widely seen as a critical and commercial success, far surpassing Dark Souls, I can come back to this video and show you naysayers that I told you so. Anyway, that's the end of this video. As always, be sure to unsubscribe and unclick the bell notification. Please leave a mildly unpleasant comment. And if I have not alienated you yet, I'm sure I'll get to you in a future video. Until then, thank you very much for watching.